Hi everyone, welcome to Animation Juice. My name is Richard and it is Quick Tip Tuesday, which means it's time for another design quick tip. And in this episode, I'm going to show you how to use the Lasso Tool in Photoshop like a pro. We're going to look at how to create a quick selection. We're going to look at how to add to that selection, subtract from that selection, create an inverse of that selection. And I'm also going to show you how you can switch between using the normal Lasso Tool and the Polygonal Lasso Tool, all within the same selection session. This is going to really speed up your workflow, especially if you have got quite intricate, a lot of intricate selections to make of a design or of a background or something like that. This is a great Photoshop quick tip, so let's jump in. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop. Now, to get the Lasso Tool, it's the third option down in your Tools menu. Now, if you can't see your Tools menu, go up to Window and all the way down to Tools and make sure it's checked, and then you should be able to see your menu. And it's the third option down, and it looks like a lasso. So give that just click on that to select it. And oftentimes when I'm doing character designs, I just want to mock up some, just to spark the imagination to play around with some fun design shapes, I will use the Lasso Tool and the Polygonal Lasso Tool just to quickly create some wacky and interesting designs, just to start the creative process, especially when starting on a blank canvas like we are here. So with the Lasso Tool selected, you can just create all kinds of weird and wonderful shapes just by dragging and selecting, basically just drawing selections. And it's great for doing soft curvy forms, especially just for patterns, especially for backgrounds. It's just a great tool, I find, especially when doing character designs. Now, sometimes, these are quite soft and organic shapes, but sometimes you're going to want to add quite rectangular, robotic shapes. And these are great for quite angular characters or angular structures. I've got the art of The Incredibles, and there's some great design references there where they just use very polygonal looking shapes like these to quickly create some very rough designs. Now let's go back to our Lasso Tool. So it's a really great tool, and if you do a selection like this, you can also add to that selection before you fill it in with colour or text, whatever you do. And you can do that by holding Shift. So if you hold Shift, you get a little plus sign next to your next to the cursor, and you can now, in the same selection session, start adding to the selection itself and start getting a more intricate designs. And then let go, and you can really just start to play around with it. And in the same way that you can add to a selection, you can also subtract from a selection before you let go and fill it in. So let's create another selection up here, and if you hold the Alt key, you get a little minus next to your Lasso Tool. And if you then whilst holding Alt and overlap your original selection, you'll see it starts to bite chunks out of it. You can see how that's working. It's like a worm eating an apple. So these are really useful. Now you can also have your selection, and by holding both of those, so we used Shift to add to a selection, we use Alt to minus from a selection. If you hold both at the same time, Shift and Alt, you get a little cross next to your selection, and this will select this will sort of remove all of the selection apart from the overlapping section. So I see I've overlapped this section, and you'll see it'll leave us with just the overlap. See that? Let's just do it one more time. So we've got a selection, and if I draw by holding Shift and Alt and then drawing whilst overlapping the selection, it's just gonna select that overlap. Now these are really useful, especially if you're in a quick production environment and you're just trying to do some quick selections, rough up copies for pictures or for just rough documents, or doing quick selections, whatever you're doing. I use it a lot for just sparking the imagination, creating new shapes, creating characters, and it's a really great tool. Now the final thing that you can do with the Lasso tool is, let's get a new sheet. The final thing that you can do with the Lasso tool is, we looked at the normal lasso, we looked at the polygonal one. The lasso is great for organic shapes, the polygonal is great for more rigid angular shapes, and you can switch between the two all within the same selection. So let's just grab the normal lasso tool and start drawing a shape, and while still without letting go of the selection, hold Alt and then let go with the mouse, and you can see you're now free to start using the polygonal tool. Now I'm still holding Alt at this point, and then when you let go of Alt and carry on drawing, you see you are back again using the normal lasso tool. And again, when you hold Alt, you back to the polygonal lasso, and then when you let go altogether, you end up with your selection. And you can start to, I use this a lot, this is a great tool just to spark the imagination. I mean, we've been doing quite regular and pattern-like shapes, but you can really just sort of start to, using both the lasso, the polygonal lasso, all in the same selection, using the subtract, using the minus, using the shift to add to the selection, you can really start to create some interesting, already I'm seeing unique and odd characters already, just by using the lasso tool, minusing through that selection, just squiggle it around and hold Alt while still drawing without letting go, and then you're back to using the polygonal, and then if you carry on drawing, you get the lasso tool, carry on drawing, and you end up with some really odd abstract shapes. But then you can start to see, look, I can already see a face there, maybe some eyes and sort of maybe a winged figurehead, so it's a really great tool. I use it a lot when, like I say, when just starting designing a blank sheet of paper, just to start creating some quick abstract shapes to spark the imagination. It's one of my favourite quick selection methods, especially for designing odd and quirky characters. So I hope it's been useful for you. So that's it for this episode of Quick Tip Tuesday. I hope it's been really useful for you, and I hope it's shown you the versatility of the lasso tool and the polygonal lasso tool, and how you can use them in conjunction with one another to to create some really interesting selections, and it's a quick selection method, but it's also a great Kickstarter for the imagination to quickly start seeing some shapes when you're faced with a blank sheet of paper and need to just come up with some fast character concepts. It's a great way to spark the imagination. So I hope you've liked this video. If you did like this video, make sure to let me know by leaving a like and a comment, and make sure to subscribe below to stay up to date with all of the latest videos as they come out. That's it for this week. Have a great week, guys, and I'll see you later.